You're going to grab your fluids from the fluid warmer and you're going to take off the outer plastic wrap and hang it on your fluid rack. At this time, you may go ahead and spike the bag. Once your patient is anesthetized and hooked up to fluids, we're going to start the prep process. One person is going to monitor the anesthesia while the other person shaves and scrubs the patient. A third person will apply eye lubricant, clip the nails, and clean the ears. You may only clip the nails and clean the ears while the patient is anesthetized and preparing for surgery. You will not be able to do these items after the patient has had surgery. Vacuum up any excess hair and nail clippings so they don't go into the OR. Express your patient's bladder before you scrub them so you can wipe up any urine. And then go ahead and do your dirty scrub. Directions for your dirty scrub are in your notes. It's not important to use aseptic technique, we just want the skin to be clean. Once you are finished preparing your patient for surgery, unhook the vacuum line from the mount and make sure your patient does have oxygen turned on to move. At this time, you can clamp off your fluid lines and disconnect your fluid from the mount. Put it on the patient table. One person will move the patient by holding the tube and putting their arm over the table. The other person will move the machine. Ideally, a third person will be here to assist with this process. Move your patient to your selected OR table and scoot them in where they are closest to the table. That will help you move them over. There's going to be a certain order of way that you move your patient over to the other table. First, we're going to turn off our ISO on our portable machine. Then we're going to disconnect our patient and our patient's tubes. Then we're going to carefully move our patient over from the gurney to the operating table. And then we will V the table. This helps patients to avoid getting bruises from hitting the V. Then we're going to turn our oxygen on. We're going to reconnect our tubes. We're going to reconnect our bag on the wall unit. We're going to reconnect our patient. Finally, we'll turn the ISO back on. Then we'll proceed to tying our patient down to our table. So we're going to use these ties. We're going to do one loop above the carpus, twist so that the tail is against the skin, and then do one loop below the carpus. You want it very close to the joint to avoid edema. We're going to go over the edge of the table and into our little fastener. The hind limbs, we're going to do one loop right above the hock. Flip so our tail is near the skin. The other loop is below the hock. Go over the end of the table and into our fastener.